Comments from council members? Anyone? Yes, Irene.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I just want to thank everyone here who came to Operation Clean Sweep. It was a fabulous day. We had over 170 volunteers who came out and did such things as plant trees and pull weeds and plant flowers in the flower pots on San Mateo Avenue. We had people picking up garbage and recycling, and it was a fabulous day. So thank you, staff, and council members were all there, and thank you, San Bruno residents who came to volunteer.
Michael.
So my comment is around the work that we're doing downtown, and I asked staff and was told that we're not putting cleanouts into the new laterals that are going in down there. And personally, I think it's a missed opportunity for us when we're already in the ground, we're completely relocating those lines, to not put those cleanouts in. And I know it's an additional expense, not an insignificant additional expense, but especially in a commercial area where fat, oil, and grease get into the system, I think it would be really in the city's interest to include that as part of this work. And I don't know that it may be too late for some of them, but if there's an opportunity to do some of that, I wanted to get council's concurrence that that's something that should be a policy for us when we are doing new construction and the opportunity presents itself to make those improvements. So just wanted to put that out there and see if I could get the council to agree.
I mean, I would do that with my own home, which I did. So I'd like to hear what staff has to say.
Mr. Mayor, if I may
Please.
make a quick comment. Based on previous conversation with the City Council, it is not our policy to routinely replace laterals when we are doing a sewer mainline project. It was done in this case specifically because the sewer line was relocated, and therefore the locations of the laterals needed to be changed in many locations. In discussing this via email with Councilmember Salazar, I learned that we did not install the cleanouts. The director has just confirmed that it is now too late to do that as part of this project. But the cost was fairly significant, as the council member indicated. It was our bid price for installation of the laterals was already relatively high at $8,000 per location, and the addition of the cleanouts would have added between $500 and $1,000 per location. I believe there were approximately 45 locations, so that's roughly correct. Going forward, we would appreciate, although we do not anticipate that there will be a large number of situations where we would be replacing the laterals. This is a private owner responsibility to maintain, to replace the laterals, so it is not routinely what we do. But in future cases where we do, for some reason that would otherwise damage the property owner, we would certainly accept your direction to install cleanouts if that's the council's pleasure.
Right. And thank you, Connie, for that. And that's really what I was just looking for, is maybe in a going forward thing, if we could, if the council concurs, of course, that our policy would be that we would start looking at opportunities to do that. I realized that I saw that sidewalks were already going back in, so I figured it was probably too late for this project. But definitely going forward, if ever there's an opportunity for us to do that, or in maybe in the residential areas where we offer an opportunity for residents to somehow participate in in the project and get laterals done with cleanouts while the streets are open.
So we have some experts in the audience. Maybe I could just ask, is it new construction, when a new lateral is being replaced or installed, is is it already the requirement that the property owner install a clean out, or is that optional?
It's optional, and there's also, it becomes a little bit tricky, like much on San Mateo Ave.
Dennis,
Dennis.
I'm sorry, could you come to that?
For new construction, you're required to do it. They should have done it. They should have done it.
So it's optional, and also it becomes a little tricky because the sewer mains sometimes aren't always in the middle of the street. Much like on San Mateo Avenue, there's really no setback, and some of the buildings, the faces of the buildings, some are farther out towards the sidewalk, some are farther back. So in some cases, there's literally no room. Also, once you put a clean out, on a public sidewalk like that, if the top of the cleanout comes off, then it also becomes a tripping hazard. So there's other things that come into play with these cleanouts, much different than in a neighborhood where it's behind the sidewalk. It's 2 to 3 to 5 feet back, behind the setback, where it's a little bit more controlled. It's not necessarily where pedestrians are walking on the sidewalk. So there are a lot of things that come into play. Some sewer mains are in backyards. Some sewer mains are just a couple feet in from the sidewalk. So it really depends where you're at. And when we put these projects together, we take into account basically what is going to be entailed on where we're doing the main and how we can make a connection to the actual private lateral.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Nothing's ever easy, is it?
I'm sorry.
So to get back to your question, Michael, I think that there are at least, I've already heard from, I'm counting myself, but there 3 council members at least that would like to, as far as policy 4.
You're saying it's a council consensus that wherever possible, when we're doing sewer lateral replacements, which is not the norm, that we would include a clean out.
Or when we're doing any major sewer, even working on the mains, but if the street's going to be open and there's an opportunity to do something above what's normal, of course factoring in however much budget we have and everything else, but at least consider it and maybe try to be a little more proactive in dealing with those laterals.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you. Marty.
I just wanted to let everybody know, if you didn't go to Cappuccino this last Friday, there was an incredible performance by our growing renaissance of musicians. Parkside had their band there. It was just amazing. I had to leave early, but if you haven't gone in a while to Cappuccino and saw their performance center, it's really spectacular. So I encourage everybody to attend the next one, and I believe Cappuccino won another first place in at least 2 first places in their last competition. So they're really doing a great job, Parkside and Cappuccino.
And then, sure, I'll join. And Irene, I wanted to thank you. You had good weather, and it was you did that. I'll give you credit. But to the group that does it every year, and thank you. It was successful. I know the assignment that we were given, it was a good assignment, and I appreciate that. Learned a lot as we met the merchants on San Mateo Avenue. And I do want to circle back, Jimmy, to your discussion on FEMA. I will say that, in my opinion, the report that you gave, and it's, I felt passion, and I felt that you had worked hard. You did the best you could, and you really, and your team and the staff, gave it their all. And that's what we asked, and we very much appreciate that, and I just wanted to reiterate that.